welcome back to our channel. Taylor Parnell here, and if you're new here, then welcome. We're so excited to have you guys. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below and all those bell notifications are turned on so that you never miss a video with us. Today's video is going to be a very popular question that sometimes I hear through this community of dog training, and it's, my dog's not responding to my commands, or maybe your dog's not responding to your e-collar. Well, let's get into that more in depth to see how we can help you guys. Like I said before, I want you guys to ask yourself a question and kind of be like, why isn't my dog responding to maybe the e-collar or the commands that I'm using? Now, think back to when you first got your puppy, or maybe if you guys have rescued a few dogs out there, and I want you to think to yourself, how did your puppy respond when you put that leash on them? They probably just sat there and were like, what do you want from me? Maybe some of them went the opposite direction of where you were walking. Sometimes we had to use that leash to kind of get the dog's attention and pull them in the direction that we want to go. And through the experience, teach them how to actually respond to that leash. So again, you guys, I want you just to think back for a second and remember something specifically. Remember why you chose this e-collar. What was your initial response and what did you want to get out of it? Some of us are maybe going to think we wanted to correct a bad habit. No problem. That's going to be something that, again, we're not going to buy this collar just to use it as a bad habit. You want to start with communicating with them, and as you start to communicate with them and they use it more, then you're going to start to be able to correct that bad habit. So let's get more in depth with how we can, take ourselves back a little bit, understand how to really use the e-collar to its effectiveness, because again, this e-collar not only changed me and my dog's lives, but it's changed so many people that I know, and I think more people deserve to not only have that freedom with their dogs, but confidence that they're gonna listen to what you're asking. Before you expect your dog to respond to the collar and be conditioned to your e-collar, I want you guys to realize and take a few steps back and to understand what your dog is conditioned to. So let's talk about those basic commands, Again, if your dog doesn't know to sit, to stay, to lay down, you're not going to be able to do that with the collar on and just expect it all to work. You need to condition your dog and attach those existing commands that you know with the response of the stimulation or the sound of the e-collar. So with this, I want you guys to be as repetitive as possible and as patient as possible, because no dog is the same. Everyone's going to have their own experience through this journey, and that's why we're always here to help you guys. So never ever forget that. And as you're starting to teach your dog, just be more aware of what they're responding to. If maybe you need to work more on the down or the stay command. But with the sit command, just to bring you guys back to really understand what we're talking about, is as you ask your dog to sit, you want to connect it maybe with the beep, because that's going to be a good, response to the dog, to say, good job, give him a treat, give him a pat. The vibrate and the stimulation is going to be something that maybe you guys are going to use more to correct something that they're doing. So let's say, again, if your dog is not sitting when you ask them, the vibrate or the stimulant may be going to be that trigger to say, hey, this is what I'm asking you to do. And when they actually sit, you're going to use that button response to say, good dog. So again, patience is key. Don't overdo it, you guys. Don't expect too much, not only from yourself, but from your dog, and really just take that step-by-step process so that you can understand better. And again, we have tons of videos on our channel for you to get a more in-depth understanding of how to do so. So let's get into the next question. Another question I want you guys to ask yourself is, are you using the e-collar on the correct level? Remember, when you start in basics and basic training with your dogs, you want to remember that every dog is different. No dog is the same, like I said before. And I know some of this is repetitive, but again, it's going to help you guys better understand how to use it to the best ability that you can. Because again, when you're training your dog, you want to start in a low stimulant environment, not with many distractions, something that's just you and the dog that they're used to doing. I mean, I like to start in my yard or maybe inside the house even, just to eliminate all those distractions. And as your dog starts to understand the commands, then you can open up into those bigger distractions. But again, if you're not using that correct level, your dog may be not going to respond to that. So again, play with those levels a little bit more. Familiarize yourself so that you can see what your dog is responding to. Because again, if your dog is not turning its neck when you're asking for that response, that means you might need to heighten it up a little bit, okay? So again, take your time with it. everything is gonna work out for you. And as you start to see your journey experience, we would love to hear more from you guys. We have so many of you tagging your responses on Instagram, which is so fun. So feel free to follow us on Instagram. JustinVirox_. Again, it will be in the description down below, of course, for you guys. Let's get into the next question. So another question I want you guys to ask yourself is the collar fitted properly, okay? Or is the unit working properly? Because again, you wanna have all of these little boxes checked before you, maybe think twice or ask yourself or maybe blame the dog or what have you. So again, you guys, I want the collar to be snug enough that it doesn't move side to side, but you do wanna be able to fit 2 fingers inside here. And of course, what's super important, you're being such a good girl, Bonnie, is the actual prongs. You want to make sure the fur is moved enough that it's with contact of the actual skin of the dog. So again, they can feel it. And remember, in a previous video, we told you guys that these are the strongest muscles on the dog here. And that's something that's going to be able to have them feel it better versus when it's here. But I do recommend that when you're using the collar, you tend to move it about the dog so that the dog can have different sensations throughout. So again, that you guys can have that communication and know that everything is fitted properly. And of course, we have videos of how to adjust everything. And I also want you guys to look at your unit to make sure it's working well. So again, you can use it on your own wrist to see how the stimulation is working, the vibration is working, and you can hear the different sounds of the tone of the beeps. But again, you also have those test bulbs in your actual box that you can use to make sure that your stimulator is working. So those were a lot of those questions that we get from you guys. And of course, you can comment down below more questions. I want to just mention one more with you guys, and then we'll end today's video. Last but not least, let's make sure your unit is properly charged. You're gonna see in the box you have your USB cable. It's not only gonna charge to your remote, but it's gonna charge to your receiver. And I want you guys to pay attention. You have a green blinking here, and that's super important to see to know that your collar is actually fully charged and that you're gonna be able to see that it's working well. So again, you guys, if your e-collar is not responding to you, or maybe your dog is not responding to you, no problem. Just take a few steps back, start from the beginning. Again, the user manual is in there for a specific reason so that you guys can get more ability and more understanding of what's going on. So thank you for tuning in for today's video. We hope we answered all those questions. And again, if you have any questions, you can drop them down below. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate being on this journey with you, and we'll see you on the next video, everybody. Bye.